What's going on, people? It is Irish Connor HD here. You can call me Irish. Welcome to episode 24 of Will It Drift. So, today's car was suggested by Drifting Machine, and it is the 1965 Ford Mustang. So, cheers for the suggestion, dude. Let's get into it. As standard, it comes with 271 horsepower, 312 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,562 pounds. And I have to say, it was very, very interesting to drive, and it's really hard to explain. So what I'm going to do, which is unusual, if you can, and if you're playing Forza at the minute, pause this video and go and just buy it and drift it. Do like a run or two in this stock with as a completely stock car, and just so you know what I mean going into this, because it's a very, very strange, interesting car. But to go into that, I felt like there wasn't really enough power. There wasn't, as you can imagine, only 271 horsepower in this game isn't exactly tons. But it does have 312 foot-pounds of torque, which does pull it along fairly well. But the power that was there was being used in a really, really weird way. It stops revving for a second or two at 6,000 RPM, which I find bizarre. It just stops accelerating, As far as the handling goes, though, it's big and boaty, as you might expect, being an old 60s American muscle car, but it can still, to a relative extent, be thrown around. As you can see here, I'm actually sort of managing to drift it. But I have to say, it was definitely one of the most intriguing stock builds that I've done yet. Just try it, please. Even if you didn't pause the video and you're going to be playing later or whatever please try it then. It's really strange feeling as a stock car. But yeah, so for the medium build though, it's got 322 horsepower, 322 foot-pounds of torque as well, strangely enough, and it weighs 2,162 pounds. So the mods that I've done are the race camshafts, race springs and weight reduction, all drivetrain to race, and the American Racing Torque Trust M wheels. That's a mouthful. And it's a big improvement. It's very enjoyable to drive. It's right at home in third gear, which is something very strange for medium builds. Even medium builds, usually third gear would be better than second gear, whereas the stock car you wouldn't really ever get into third gear. Usually third gear is sort of an option if it's a good car, basically, but it's just so surprising that third gear was it was right at home there, pulled itself along very nicely. And it's a lot more agile. It's what with the weight loss, and the better springs, the race springs and stuff like that, it's not super zippy. Obviously it still has that boaty muscle car feel, but it's definitely a lot better. And then all it really needs now for my liking is for me to build it to my taste, basically. But it's more than driftable at this stage. It's not a yes by any means. I wouldn't get a yes in a Will It Drift if I was to just finish it up here, but it's definitely an enjoyable drift car in the medium build. But going into the full build, I will just say that I kept the stock engine that, as I said with one of the last muscle cars that I didn't want to put in the Ford Mustang 2010 engine or whatever the big upgrading engine is that you can put in. I wanted to keep it stock and stay true to itself and see how it performed on its own merits. But again, it has the same horsepower and torque at 401 for each. 401 horsepower, 401 foot-pounds of torque, which I found strange. But it weighs 2,178 pounds, so as usual, it actually goes up in weight because of all the added parts. But it is a full build and tune, and it's a really interesting car. The power and torque is fine, and it's not the quickest, but it's also not the slowest. As I said in the second build, it pulls itself along nicely. It kind of just goes along and does what you ask it to do, pretty much. What I will say though, what threw me off about it was an absolute pig to get sidewards and keep angle. At the actual getting sidewards part, what problem was when you pull too much angle, it slows down a lot. It really, really slows down when you pull it too sideways. So backwards entries are any kind of backwards reverse entry thing is pretty much off the table to a certain extent. You just scrub too much speed. And then also to keep it sideways, to keep it having good angle, it just always seems to want to straighten. But overall, it was pretty enjoyable. It's unfortunate that it had that issue with the keep angle, because otherwise it would have been a very, very good car. So, will it drift? I'm going to have to say perhaps, because it's not bad by any means, but just the combination of the fact that it's not the fastest in the world, while it's not the slowest, as I said, it's not the fastest, and the whole angle issue that I personally have with it, on my experience, I would have to say perhaps. I can't say that you wouldn't, you personally would listen to this, wouldn't be able to make it a yes. I'm almost certain that you would, but I'm not the best tuner, best builder in the world, or whatever like that. So from my experience, from the build that I got, it was still only A-class. It was still only 400 horsepower A-class car. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, but that's pretty much my verdict on it. It will drift, but I'm going to say perhaps. I don't know how well it'll drift considering that problem that it has with holding angle. So that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.